Okay, I'm gonna show you how to make some of these vegetables for your tacos. They're all out of paper and crayons. So let's start with the radish. I used a white piece of paper and then I drew the outside of the radish with red violet, so just a small circle. And then I went and did a light layer of that red violet on the inside, and then I blended it with this light pink color. And then I'll cut that out. That's the radish, very simple. For the red onion, I used violet purple and I drew concentric kind of oval shapes. You could start on the outside, you can start on the inside. I pressed hard so that I got a nice dark, thick line. And you can make this as big as you want to. And then I went over that purple color with the red violet. I just thought that made it look a little bit more like a red onion. And then this gets cut out as well. Okay, the tomato. I took a red piece of construction paper and a red crayon. I drew a circle for the outside of the tomato. And again, I'm pressing really hard on all these, trying not to break the crayon. And then I'm gonna make these rounded triangles that have this the tip of the triangle pointing towards the middle and the 2 points going towards the outside. So kind of like this. And these are like the little sections of the tomato. This is really similar to the way I did the lime as well. And then I just put some dots in those as like the seeds and then colored the whole thing over with the red. And then if I needed to, went back over those sections with the crayon just to bring them back out and then cut that out, which I'll do now. So you could use this as a whole slice of tomato this way, or I cut it into sections and used these little sections on my taco. All right, so there's my tomatoes. Next for the lime, I used light green and dark green, and I drew a half circle shape. Again, pressing really hard. And then starting in the middle, I made a teardrop shape. And then just made 2 more going up the sides. Then I outlined the bottom, like the skin on the lime, with the dark green. And I made this a little bit thicker to give myself some room to cut it out so I could cut it on that line and it would still show. I also used some yellow. I filled in these little guys with yellow. And then I colored over the whole thing with the lime green color. And then I went back over these sections with the dark green. This just helps give it dimension and depth and really brings out the lime colors. Then I cut that out. Okay, the meat. I used torn black paper. I wanted to make sure all edges are torn. And then, tear pieces about this big. They could be a little bit smaller, they could be a little bit bigger. And then I added grill marks. So I took brown and did some stripes. And then I went the other direction, kind of in a diamond, to make a diamond shape. And those are thicker lines. And then I just drew a straight line on top of those with the black to make it look like a grill mark. I did this on both sides because of the way I wadded these up. Oops, my crayon broke. If that happens, it's okay. So I found when I wadded them up that both sides of the paper showed. So I wanted to make sure that I colored both sides with the grill marks. And then that was how I made my little pieces of beef. And then for the radishes, just cut those out right along that line. I did add one additional detail after I cut them out, totally optional, which I'll show you. After I cut them out, I took the red crayon and then just went right around the edge, barely covering, just to give that another layer of color. That's my radish. Cut out the onion. And then I cut this onion into, I don't know, quarters, eighths, sixths, whatever worked for you. So this would be quarters. You could cut these again if you wanted even smaller sections like that. Okay, so you would cut out your lime. Okay, so I have the lime, the radish, the beef or the meat, tomato, and the red onion.